meeting will be recorded. It will assist the conduct of business if participants speak only when invited. I shall adjourn the meeting if necessary if protocol is not observed. Members of the public are welcome to view the proceedings but should not make contributions during the decision-making process. All members of the committee have received the reports in advance and had the opportunity to read them. The reports are published on the internet. Additional documents known as the pre-committee notes are available on the Council's internet site and have been emailed to members and public speakers. These should be read in conjunction with the main agenda documents, and they are fully taken into account before decisions are made. Applications will be dealt with in the order they appear on the agenda. I will invite applicants or agents and public speakers who have registered to speak at the appropriate time. All participants should mute their microphones and video feed when they are not speaking. Please remember to unmute your microphone and switch on your video feed when it is your turn to speak. Speak clearly and slowly into your microphone. The chat function on Microsoft Teams should only be used by the members of the committee and officers. This is to assist me with the conduct of the meeting. Members of the public should not use this function in any capacity. This is being monitored and has a full audit trail. Anyone found to be using this function will be removed from the meeting. As there are no speakers, the officers will be asked to give a brief report and members of the committee will be asked if they want to speak on the application or if it is to be moved straight to a decision. The committee will then be invited to make a decision on each individual application. And when a matter is put to a formal vote. I will ask each member of the committee individually to record their vote using the chat function or verbally. Finally, I ask for everyone's patience with the use of this technology and I apologise in advance if we experience any unforeseen difficulties, which we will try to resolve expediently. When the item on which you have contributed is concluded, you may leave the meeting by using the red hang up button if you wish. Do we have any apologies for absence?
None, Chair.
Therefore, no appointments to be made. And are there any declarations of interest under the Members' Code of Conduct? Take that as none. And can I confirm and sign the minutes of the meeting held on the 14th of October 2020 as a correct record?
Yes, Chair.
Thank you. So moving straight on to plans and applications to develop. It's planning application number P191777. Pete, would you like to come in on that one, please?
Yep, thank you, Chair. Just while Richard's getting the presentation screen up, I've just confirmed that the pre-committee notes only relate a further objection on behalf of residents of Kirkpatrick Drive and give details of revised condition 1, which gives updated plan references for the decision notice. Thank you. Richard, are you able to share the committee presentation, please?
I'm just out the technology.
All right. Okay, is that loading, Richard? Okay.
There we go, Pete. It's done.
Okay, thank you. Can you go to the banner? That's it. Okay. So this reserve matters application follows outline approval for residential development and a means of access off Brierley Hill Road, which was granted in 2016. Could you go to the next slide, please? Okay, this is the location plan. Red line indicates the planning application boundary, and the blue line beyond the area is the area of ownership of the applicants. Okay, next slide, please. This aerial view gives the context of the site. You can see it's reached from Brierley Hill Road in the south. Worsley School is located to the southeast of the Spine Road. The Spine Road runs up past the area of the former Ridge Hill Hospital. The hospital has been demolished now, and some of the associated units to the north. There is an NHS operational facility in the northeast of the site, and further north is the residential development of the former Worsley Hospital. The green areas you can see that sway through the midst of the slide is actually allocated green belts. The next slide, please, Richard. Okay, this is zooming in on the site. You can see the areas of the former cleared buildings, and you can also see the Penns Meadow School, which is a special school with access along the main Spine Road that you can see to the mid right-hand side of the slide. Okay, next one, please, Richard. Okay, so this is the overall site plan. Submitted proposals for 103 dwellings. That's made up of 24 apartments, 28 two-bedroom houses, 36 three-bedroom houses, and 15 four-bedroom houses. The development split into three areas of the site. The lower area was previously within the green belt, and just to confirm, in terms of this development, there are no vehicular or pedestrian links to the Worsley Hospital development to the north of this site. Just emphasise that, because that was a preconception of a number of observations that were made in association with the application. The next slide, please, Richard. Okay, the lower section of development, the sort of slightly detached area, is the area of the former nurses' home development. It's located within the green belt. It's obviously on previously developed land, and the extent of the development is of a lesser extent than the original development. So, in terms of green belt policies and requirements, that's perfectly acceptable. The main development area, or the central block that you can see above, is of appropriate layout and design. It's a perimeter block development that is secure and has appropriate, I suppose, landmark buildings at the southern tip. All dwellings are outward looking, and it's set at a slightly lower level than, well, a lower level than the spine road that's located to the east of the development. The next slide, please, Richard. Okay. The development has a new pedestrian and cycle link in the northeast. That's linked onto Auckland Road, and that is as required by the outline approval. Development to the northern section of the site consists of a perimeter block of houses and two 3-story apartment blocks, which are located adjacent to the existing and remaining NHS facility, and they're at a lower level than the dwellings on Kirkpatrick Drive to the north of the site. Okay, next slide, please, Richard. Okay, so windows in the apartment block are to be obscure glazed. They're secondary windows to kitchens within the block, and there's just one window in that closest feature facing towards Kirkpatrick Drive. Next slide, please. This slide gives a section of the relationship of the proposed apartment block and the houses in Kirkpatrick Drive, and this demonstrates that there's a satisfactory relationship between the houses and the proposed apartment block. Next slide, please, Richard. And this gives a layout, shows the layout of the flats with the kitchen come living room, and the fact that the kitchen window facing towards the residential properties is obscure glazed, and that it's a secondary window to the accommodation. Okay, next one, please, Rich. Okay, these are general street scenes of the development. This would be to the midsection with the apartment block to the south, and outward-facing dwellings overlooking open space throughout the rest of the site. In terms of, I suppose, affordable housing, provision will be at 22%, and that will be in accordance with requirements of the outline planning consent that required a viability assessment of the scheme, and based upon that, the 22% of affordable housing is to be provided. Next slide, please, Richard. Okay, this is just another street scene indication of the site development and how it would appear from the outside roads looking in. Okay, next, Richard. Okay, this is the site access from Brierley Hill Road, the spine road, as we're calling it, that links to the existing NHS hospital facility and the Pens Meadows Special School. You can see Wordsley School to the right that has an access just inside the spine road. This will be improved as part of the outline planning permission, and I'll be asking John to make a few comments on the specific improvements and layout of the highway improvements. Next, please, Richard. This is the spine road that runs into the site. It crosses quite a deep culverted stream running through the valley. The spine road is lit, and it will have enhancements to provide pedestrian facilities. Next one, please. This is a general panoramic view through the site. Levels drop from the east towards the west, and this slide is looking north through the site. Next, please. Okay, another view looking south and west through the site. The midsection shows how levels fall from the Spine Road and drop onto what would have been the plateaued areas of the former Ridge Hill hospital facility. And the next. From the centre of the site looking north, you can see the existing and remaining NHS facility in the northeast of the site. More centrally, you can see the Penns Meadow School. And again, how levels fall across the site from east to west. The next, please. Southwest of the corner, this is where the somewhat detached area of housing will be. It's the site of the former nursing homes. And you can see where the Greenbelt and Buckpool wedge is located to the rear and south of the site. Okay, next, please. Penns Meadow School. This is at a lower level than the Spine Road, and it's at a slightly higher level, I think, than the main development of the site. Consideration was given to the method of the arrival of the majority of pupils in taxis as part of this development, and there have been highway improvements accommodated within the development as a result of this. Okay, next, Richard, please. And this is the view towards the Wordsley Hospital development, Kirkpatrick Drive. You can see the houses at the higher level, and this is I guess the demolished area of former buildings and the existing NHS facility on the right-hand side of the slide. Okay, next. Just a closer view of the difference in levels between the sites set at the lower level, and the Kirkpatrick Drive houses at the higher level. And the next. Another view of those houses at the higher level and where the apartments will be located at the lower level at an appropriate separation distance from those dwellings. Okay, next. Okay, if I could bring John Hindley in at this point, he can just run quickly through some of the highway improvements that are being provided as part of the development, and this is the access onto Brierley Hill Road. Okay, John, can I ask you to comment?
Good evening, Chair. Could you turn your microphone off, Pete, so it doesn't echo? Thank you. This plan was submitted as part of the outline application, and it creates a widened carriageway for the Spine Road, a 3-metre shared footway and cycleway to the west side of the road, and a minor improvement on the east in the proximity of Wordsley School to create a 2-metre footway to benefit the children who may wish to walk and cycle north through the new Ridge Hill site. You can just about make out the shared use signage indicated on the bottom left, together with tactile paving and appropriate tactiles across the junction for the pupils and other road users. The second segment within the plan shows the extension of these works up to the point of the culvert. At this point, the original proposal was to finish the footway and cycleway and have pedestrians and cyclists within the carriageway area as a shared surface. This was only considered acceptable purely because the structural assessment of the embankment over the culvert hadn't taken place as yet. If we could have the next slide, please, Richard. As part of these improvement works, the developer has now presented this layout where the assessment of the embankment has taken place and a 1.5 metre footway can be incorporated across the top of there without impacting on the stability of the embankment. This will mean that cyclists will have to rejoin the carriageway, but we will have a segregated space for pedestrians over the full length from Brierley Hill Road into the estate. Is there one further slide, Richard? Right. The other improvements that have taken place as part of the reserve matters is the incorporation of a set of steps and cycle link between the Spine Road and Auckland Road. You can see that with a sort of V-shaped layout currently highlighted by Richard. And then also with regard to the Penns Meadow School, it was observed that taxis currently queue all the way around that bend. And so as part of the development, we've got a minor widening of 2 metres through this area. And this will in effect create a taxi stand and allow two-way traffic flow past it in both directions, meaning that obviously taxis, private hire and parents can safely collect their children, but still allow residential access with no issues for emergency services or anything like that. There is also a footway provided around the top side of that bend that links wholly from Auckland Road to the apartment block, and that ensures there is a continuous footway link all the way from the most northern point of the development down to the Wordsley School and beyond. Thank you very much. I'm happy to take any questions as required.
Thanks, John. Committee, does anybody have any questions or comments that they would like to make? Is everybody, Councillor Cowell?
Councillor.
Yeah, it's just a quick question really, Chair. In relation to the roads, I understand they're going to be unadopted. Is that correct? And I just wondered why, whether that was an issue with such a large development, particularly that Spine Road not being adopted, and whether that would lead to problems a bit later on.
Okay. Chair, I think John's probably best qualified to answer that one. Thank you.
Yes, so we've had extensive discussions with the developer over this. They are currently constructed by the NHS back in the early 70s. They've been maintained by them over the last sort of 40 years or so. We have had surveys done of them, and they are of a suitable construction, but they are not expected to be of adoptable standards. So the decision has been taken by the developer that given viability of the site, to reconstruct all of those roads to full adoptable standards would not make it viable in any way or form. As Peter referred to earlier, the provision of the housing has been slightly reduced purely to the viability, and therefore we have considered it. We have looked at the likelihood of the need for repair, and we have got the sort of background knowledge that refuse vehicles and construction vehicles for the new hospital area and for the Pens Meadow School have been running up and down that road for, as I say, 40 years or so, and therefore we are confident that there won't be any long-term issues with access for that. The NHS, though, have decided that they will not put it forward for adoption. Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you.
John. Thanks, Chair.
Are there any more questions before we put this to the vote? No? So all those in favour?
Chair, sorry, Councillor Taylor just indicated to speak.
Apologies, I didn't see that. Councillor Taylor.
I did, yes, sorry, Chair. It was just that earlier on, there were several people that had sent in objections. And is there no one here to speak on those now, or is it past that point?
No, they were given the choice of whether they wished to speak, but nobody came forward. So therefore, it wasn't represented by them.
Okay, that's fine, yeah.
Okay, so all those in favour of the officer's recommendation for approval for P191777, Councillor Ahmed.
Approved, Chair.
Councillor Bradley.
Subject to conditions, approved, Chair.
Councillor Burston.
Approved, Chair.
Councillor Cowell.
Approved, Chair.
Councillor Hanif.
Approved, Chair, subject to conditions.
Councillor Harley.
Yes, approve.
Councillor Neal.
Yes, approved with the conditions, Chair.
And Councillor Taylor.
Yes, approve with conditions, yes.
So that's unanimous. So the application has been approved. So moving on to the last item on the agenda this evening, which is to consider any questions from members to the chair where 2 clear days notice has been given to the monitoring officer. Karen?
None, Chair.
Thank you. So that concludes the meeting for this evening. Thank you all.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Chair. Very brisk.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chair. Short and sweet, thank you.
Go and see how my chicken's boiling now.